Man, there is so much I can say about this next relationship. But when I truly reflect and look back on it, I honestly am just proud of the fact that I was able to leave and to end it. Because, there was a lot of emotional and verbal abuse, a lot of infidelity, like, cheating that was happening. I think maybe even once or twice we like pushed each other. So like I don't know. I would say put hands on each other, but never like threw a punch or hit or anything. But still like, pushed each other. There's literally so much that like I'm probably that my mind has probably blocked out that I just like we both went through on both ends. But really, I think around that time I had found out about the term twin flame, and I literally have to read this definition because if that is not what I experienced, then just something ain't right. Because it definitely is. But so it says a twin flame is a deeply intense spiritual connection with another person who is believed to be the other half of your soul, often called a mirror soul. Unlike a soulmate who complements you, a twin flame reflects your deepest strengths, insecurities, and traumas back at you, acting as a catalyst for profound personal growth and transformation. Yeah. XB, my guy, was definitely that for me, and I'm sure I was that for him as well. But like I said, I want to focus more on the fact that I was able to leave, and also my own. That the ending part really got me. Actually all of it, like the fact that it's your mirroring your it's believed to be mirroring your strengths, insecurities, and traumas. It's like, yes, insecurities and traumas for sure, because from the first, my last relationship, having a hard time with my partner being more social than I was, having a strong relationship with his family. XB had like that times two, where he, has a great relationship with his family, like very strong relationship, and then had like a tight knit circle of friends that he had. That was just so hard for me to like just see and not compare myself and feel really insecure about that, about not having a strong friend group. At the time, I had like my close friend, my best friend, in like maybe I don't know, one or two filler friends nearby somewhere. But yeah, seeing him have the things that I didn't made me really insecure, and then him wanting to go and spend time with other people made me really insecure. Became very possessive, very jealous. While at the same time, I kind of justified it because I was doing delivery services at the time, doing Instacart, and letting him stay with me, and like the I guess deal was that he would help, like we would go to work together, and like make rent because I was living on my own, when we were dating and stuff. I had was officially on my own, and like it's just so strange because on one hand I felt like I was making progress with my wounds and my childhood traumas and stuff, and then he comes along and it's just like poking even deeper holes in my being, and I'm just like, well, what the hell? I literally feel like I'm like in a good place, like everything was like moving in a good direction. I was getting back into college, and then just like I don't know, these immense feelings and emotions, and like I don't know, I was not at the time not good, handling and managing and just experiencing my emotions. We fought a lot, like if not every other, if not every day, every other day, literally, like called the cops on each other, I think more than once. Like we just broke up and got back together an enormous amount of times, like just so stressed out, living in chaos, my fight or flight, just adrenaline always on 10. um but those insecurities, those wounds of like being alone, and then also not having a community, a network of people, it was just like really intense for me and for him as well. And we both were very young, like we were we had a 2-year age gap. I think we started dating as I was turning 21 and he had turned 18. So he was 18, I was 20, but about to be 21, and then he was gonna turn 19. So we were very young too, and that relationship lasted for 4.5 years, and we did have a break in between around the 2 year mark. And it's just like literally back to the twin flame thing. Like when I finally, because something that was like really holding me back, beside like the insecurities, I guess this maybe is like a external insecurity, but being from a low income background was also really keeping me with him, because after we moved from east side, one of the neighborhoods that I'm from, which is far southeast in the city of Chicago, we moved to where his family was staying, where he's sort of from too, the southwest side of Chicago, which was a lot closer to my school, to my university, UIC. And then, at one point we were staying in one of his stepdad's properties, because he like had multiple properties. And we were staying in like an attic apartment for like $600. Yeah, I think it was $600 a month. So I was paying $300 because we were going half and half in rent, and then like trying to get my college education. And like I remember even at one point I had to do a whole term withdrawal because the fighting and the cheating and everything was so intense that like I couldn't literally focus on my studies and like write my papers and stuff. Like I literally, and this is obviously like excuses, because I should have been like my priorities should have been together. um but I had to do a term withdrawal. I didn't even know what that was until that moment, because I was literally gonna fail multiple classes, and I was like, what are my options? Like this, please help. So I did an entire term withdrawal, and obviously still owed all that money for the loans and stuff that I took out. It was just a mess, y'all. But anyways, like when we took that gap, or that break, I'm sorry, because I don't even know how long. I think it lasted like 2-3 months. There was a coworker of mine that one of the other insecurities, or fears, I would say, was that I would never meet somebody else. So it's like, can't be alone, don't want to be alone. I'm scared that I'm never gonna find somebody again. This is like my only person. I'm poor, so like I don't have anywhere else to go. My relationship with my mother is very strained. So, and obviously, that those projections come up in my relationships. That wound specifically, because and my relationship with my sister is also strained, sort of half and half, as a result of mommy issues, but then we have our own issues. And it's just like, okay, I had this pattern then of looking for mommy and sister in every single partner that I would meet. But then I met this coworker that really liked me, and he was so handsome. He was Colombian, he had an accent, like oh, he spoke Spanish, like he worked in the paint department. It was just so cute, and we would like kind of flirt from across the aisles. And at this point I didn't care about cheating either, so it was like, it was a lot. But he sort of gave me the confidence to leave, because I was like, oh, I can find somebody else. And you know what? Let me just go back to where I'm from and like, do the commute, which was really fucking hard. So I ended up leaving. We broke up, and it was very much a like impulse thing, which it needed to be. Like anybody that knows, like leaving somebody or a toxic situation, it's like one minute you're like, I hate this, I want to go, like this is unhealthy, and I don't want whatever, I don't want this. And then the next minute you're like, oh, but like he did something nice today, like it's not that bad. It's like, girl. And I literally was telling my friend, like, I just want to leave him, and I just like want to hold on to this feeling and just do it and go. And she's like, okay, let's get a truck. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do this. And it was literally late one night, and I just literally got a pickup truck, not a pickup, U-Haul, mover's truck, and moved out. And then moved back home, and I was driving, staying with her sometimes because she lived closer to school as well. And then this is very unhealthy, and I would never do this now, but I sort of started seeing that coworker very shortly after we broke up, if not like the next day. Um, because I just like, in my mind I was like, yeah, I'm over it. Like I'm moved on, I'm fine, like whatever. Um, and so I started, dating my coworker, and we definitely went official. And I clearly and for sure was not over my last knucklehead, because I knew it when we would have sex. I wasn't able to get up. And I was just like, I don't understand. I'm so attracted to this being. Like, this man is so, like, my dream. And then, like, we'd be, like, sometimes on the train together, too. Like, riding the pink line in the morning. He was an art major. So we would both be going to school together. He would go to SAIC and, like, go be a little painter and whatnot. And then I'd go to UIC to study, psych. And then we'd see each other later at work. I'd wear his shirts to work sometimes. It was so, it was very cute. But I just couldn't, emotionally connect to him and then have sex with him. And I was like, damn, I think I'm not over, my knucklehead. And then he just got me because at that same time he kept, blowing me up like paragraphs and everything, what have you, of like, I miss you, like, we belong together, like, we can like change, we can this, we can that. And yeah, I literally, I wouldn't say I necessarily fell for it, because I don't know, I just went back and things did not get better. So from that second year, kind of continuing on to the next 2.5 years, and that 4.5, I'm pretty sure it was about 4.5 months or years, I'm sorry. I just had enough. And like, I distinctly remember the straw that broke my camel's back in my hard ass head was that I realized he would never see me differently in his mind. Like, he would never see growth and potential in me to change. Like, up until that point, it was very much like, oh, like, I'm having hope and seeing that and hoping that he could change. Like, he can do it, he can do it, we can do it. And then there was like a final moment where it was like, oh, he will never think that I can do it. Like, he will never believe that I can change and not be unhealthy and toxic to him. Or obviously, like, he couldn't forgive me either for a lot of the things that have transpired. But I remember that distinctly. Like, there was a moment where I was like, oh, like, I'm not who he thinks that I am, and I'm tired of this, and I'm going tonight. Like, again, impulsively, I literally started packing my stuff. Actually, just my clothes. I literally just took my clothes. Mind you, we had a whole furnished apartment. That was literally because of me. Thank you very much. I was very much like, can we not have a futon in this living room? Can we have an actual proper bed? Can we have a better stove? Can we? And I left all of that behind, which is another, maybe not necessarily a wound, but a lesson that I had to learn the hard way, that was not my last time starting over when it comes to like furniture and like investing in those kind of things in my home. That literally happened again. But everything that you see here is my last time. I will never get rid of my furniture or leave it to somebody, actually, is a better way to put it. But yeah, that was a really hard thing and a hard decision, and choice to make at the time. I like, my perception of time even changed, because I remember staying with my friend at the time. I was like, kind of couch surfing with her, but like sleeping in the room with her. Like, I was sharing her bed because we were used to that. And I swear I thought that I was there for like two days, and she was like, you were here for like 2 to 3 weeks, Demetrius. I was like, what? And I literally had to do the math, and it was like, I think 2 weeks that I was there. I was like, I feel like it was a weekend, that like, and I don't know. So I was very much depressed after that for a good 2 weeks, actually a long time after that. Not a long time, but like, I remember it was going into my last year of grad or undergrad. And that was such a hard time. Like, I literally was crying at graduation. I was literally crying at graduation because in my mind I expected my boyfriend to be there and my mom, and they both were not there. I think I had went no contact with my mom for the first time around that time, because like, she was just stressing me out. And then broke up with my boyfriend, and he wasn't, both of them were not at my graduation, and I was literally in at the commencement, literally crying. Like that was so. I was gonna say pathetic, but it's not pathetic. It's just what it was. But I moved down into the Pilsen neighborhood, which is where I'm currently at again. I love that full circle moment. Um, and it was in a co-living situation, which like that really saved me. And then Pilsen is known to be experiencing gentrification, which gentrification is bad, right? Um, but for me, it literally saved me. Like I had nowhere else to go. My credit was shit for reasons we will not get into. Well, I think I mentioned in the last video I filed bankruptcy. So I had nowhere to go in this co-living situation. It was like one of the first years that started popping up, at least in the Pilsen neighborhood. And that's literally how I was able to finish college, or my undergrad actually. And just make it on my own, sorta. It was very much the beginning of that, like the first time that I truly was on my own and independent, and just like now ready to deal with my wounds, because I thought going into that relationship that I was already doing that, but it was clear, no. Like the beginning, the middle, and the end was very clear that Demetrius had more growth to achieve, and more pain to let out and experience. It was literally, probably still to this day, the hardest thing that I've ever been through in my life. And I will never forget that decision to leave and walk away. Like it was so empowering. That's such a hard word. Um, it was, yeah, it was really difficult, but like I just listened to that voice in my head that was like, he will never see you differently, you need to go now. And like I was just done, and it was it. And then I sort of discovered myself again, and this is like 25 years old, 25 in 2021. I had just turned 25, yeah, and then graduated, so now I have my degree, which I've been working on for a long time, and boom, I was single, ready to mingle. Just sort of started drinking a little bit excessively around that time, going out a lot. But definitely around 26, that like following year after that toxic relationship, I really started to find myself. And that kind of kickstarted my artist journey. So I can't wait to talk and share more about that. But have a few more relationships to get through, some experiences that have taught me a lot as well. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about them.